Hello, good evening and welcome to this week's episode of Let's Talk About. My name is Sedi Nam Togo Lamadegu. Let's Talk About is a midweek talk show organized by the Trinity United Church, Legon. Over here, we discuss issues ranging from life, finance, marriage, and any other thing that bothers the everyday Christian. Today, we are discussing Rising Right, building brands that honor God and inspire the world. You are reminded that we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Trinity United Church, Legon. My guest today is Mr. Felix Darko, a businessman. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Great. You can send questions, comments, or any other issues you may want to address to our WhatsApp number 0501 579 996, 0501 579 996, or you can share them on our social media platforms as well. You probably work for a business or own one, but how do you do it God's way? That is essentially what we are discussing today, and we'll be diving right into the discussion. Welcome again, sir.
Thank you.
How did you start your business? What led you to start your business?
That's an interesting question. So when I left school, and this is over 2 decades ago, of course I started national service, and then during that time, I started scouting around, and those days, looking for business would be through the dailies. So you'll pick the Graphic, the Ghanaian Times, and look for advertisements. But prior to, looking for opportunities, I also spoke to a friend of mine, who was in the UK then, that could we have a partnership and start a business in Ghana. So that came first. So we started a horticultural business. We're providing landscaping services. So basically, we'll look for individuals that want to have, nice gardening at home, and we'll plant grass, plant other flowers. But like I said, along that, I was still looking for employment. So I applied to a few businesses, and by the grace of God, I was invited to an interview, and I was successful at that interview. So my first interview post the university, I got a job. But I must say that I prepared really hard for the interview. I remember going for this interview with my seniors at the university. It was quite a large group. And when I finally got a job, the HR person then mentioned to me that, yes, you had come really prepared, and it's one of the reasons why we chose you, yes, with another person. So I still maintain this business that I had started with the friend, and also in informal employment, try to juggle the two. So basically what I was doing was to engage somebody to run a horticultural business, and then I will go for the Monday to Friday at this business that I've been offered employment at. Then on Saturdays, yes, I'll be at this business. I ran this for a couple of months. Unfortunately, it failed.
Oh.
It failed for a variety of reasons. One, I didn't have the know-how. It was just, recognizing an opportunity and thinking that, yes, having recognized an opportunity, we could run a business. It was when we started running that business and I realized that no, I didn't have that much of a know-how in that business. So when it failed, together with my partner, we decided that, okay, we'll basically sell the business. And we're, again, fortunate, he managed to identify somebody who bought the business. So at least we're able to recoup a big chunk of the investment we had put in that business. So I stayed as an employee for a couple of years. I stayed with this first company for 5 years, then took a break, went for further studies, got a job afterwards, and continued till the late 2017. that I decided that, okay, I want to go on my own. So I've had call it as an employee experience for close to 2 decades before starting the current business. Yeah. So that is in brief about how far I have come from a career point of view.
Great. And it's really impressive that you started the business early. But I have a question. Why horticulture? What kicked you off all the businesses in the world?
That's a good question.
Yes, why horticulture?
Yes. Well, I have an agricultural background. I read agricultural economics at the university. So, yes, that background, teased me into horticulture. And also, at that time, I thought there was a big opportunity in that area. So, yes, it's something that... like I said, we didn't do much of our homework. We were just thinking and superficially that yes, this is an opportunity for which we thought that okay, with some capital, we could make money in that industry. But we learned the hard way. We learned the hard way that it's not just a case of identifying an opportunity, but a lot more goes into establishing and running a successful business. I mean, having been an employee for a couple of years, it taught me many lessons. Yes, it taught me many lessons. And I must say that is one of the reasons why the current business that I'm in, yes, those experiences is what is driving this current, driving this business.
Okay, so you mentioned learning the hard way. Take us through that. What were some of the challenges you faced, especially feeling that you had identified an opportunity and not doing proper homework and getting in there? What essentially caused the business to fail?
So yes, we've identified an opportunity. We've managed to raise some bit of capital, and we've set up. Now you need people to work with. Okay. We've limited know-how in that business. Okay, identifying the right persons to work with, one is a hindrance. Yes. But we managed to get some people. With my limited knowledge in that area also, what it meant was you depended wholly on the employees you had. So if an employee says that okay, this has to be done this way, that's the only thing that that's the only thing that and that caused a lot of problems. I remember one instance, and this was when I was running the horticulture and also in employment. We had gone to do work for a client of ours, and the client had, along the way, had pests on some of the flowers. So the client called and asked us to come and take care of the pests. So I spoke to the employees we had that there's a challenge we have. How do we address it? And they came up with a couple of solutions. Yes, let's get pesticide and what have you. So we got it, and I gave it to them to go and spray on the plants. So they went and did that. Days afterwards, I was in the office. I didn't know that the woman even knew that I had another job outside of my horticultural job. So I was in my former employment when a call came through from the receptionist. That there's somebody on the line who wants to speak to you. So I picked my phone, and my client on the line. That the plants we've killed.
Oh.
Yes, we've killed all her.
She had to call your job. Wow.
We've killed all her plants. So I remember when I closed from work that day, dashed to the client's house, and indeed we had killed everything. So the investment that the client had made, we had literally yes, and it's because we didn't have that know-how. I didn't have that know-how. I thought that okay, because I've done some bit of agriculture at
just jump in.
Yes, it's something that I could do, but it doesn't work that way. No, it doesn't work that way. The practical understanding of the business you are in is absolutely important.
Right.
It's absolutely important. It's not just a case of I've acquired knowledge
Book knowledge.
in school. Yes, and because I have that knowledge in school, yes, I'm ready
Right.
to run the business. You know, and you know, so we had many issues, yes.
Okay, so at certain points in those issues you encountered, did you feel like giving up? You know, before finally pulling the plug, did you feel like giving up?
No, I think for that first business, we just gave up. I mean, I just felt that no, this is not something that
wasn't working.
yes, it wasn't going to work. I mean, for somebody running the business with such limited knowledge, and again, because I also was in a formal employment, it was just too much. So I think it was the right decision that we made at the time. That no, it's just something that we just cannot continue. So it was best we sold the business off and concentrated on something else, and that is exactly what we did.
Okay, so for you who has, I presume your subsequent businesses have experienced some success, right? So for you who has experienced failure to some extent, especially your first time as a business owner, how would you define success in a business as a Christian?
I mean, first and foremost, you want to take care of yourself,
Right.
take care of your family, support in the Great Commission, give to society, and I'm mentioning all this because whatever you go into, first and foremost is to provide for this. Right. Yes, you want to be able to to put food on the table, a roof over your head with your family. Your family needs the basics in life and some of the nice things in life. Yes, to be able to provide. And like I said, it's also to be able to provide for the Great Commission. I mean, this year, for instance, our team called out and sent out. Yes. Right. How do we go out if the means are not there? So business also enables us to be able to have that resource to support that. And as we are in business, it's also for the community. What is it that we are providing out there, which provides a solution to a problem in the community? We've told ourselves that we are not chasing profit. If we are able to satisfy our clients, and that for us is a goal. Are we satisfying our clients? And if we are satisfying our clients, the other things will just fall in place. So our driver is not, on the profitability, but our clients satisfied with the services that we are offering. And for the business that I'm part of, if we look to the clients we service, rarely do we have a client come to us and not come back.
Right.
And we have a number of referrals also, because yes, we have clients who are happy with the services we've provided, for which yes, they are happy to recommend us to other persons who require our service, and that is what drives us.
Okay.
Yes, that is what drives us. And it's also not a case of we've provided a service or we've provided a product and it ends there. But we also go back to our clients. We go back to them and check, are they happy with what we've offered? Are there issues? And oftentimes when we go back to clients to inquire of their satisfaction or otherwise of our services, they are often amazed that we had a dealing with you maybe 12 months or more than 12 months ago, and you've come back to check on how well your items are doing. Okay, and that has really helped us in moving this business forward. So for us, like I said from the onset, the focus is, are our clients happy with what we are offering? Okay, and that also means that we just don't offer anything to the client. Okay, we are dead sure of what is it that we are giving to the client.
Right.
If there is any doubt of an item that we are offering the client, we will immediately stop it.
Right.
We want to be sure that whatever we are giving to the client indeed gives value to the money that the client is giving us.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now let's delve a bit deeper. I would not like to ask if you've had to compromise in a certain way as a business owner in Ghana, of course, where things are really hard to, push through sometimes. But what is your general view on having to give someone an incentive he does not deserve to, get a deal across, get a contract? What's your general view on that? And what would you tell business owners as people who must honor God with these businesses they are running?
I think you need to put it in the context of the business you are running, okay? And in the particular business that I'm in, we provide lighting and electrical services, okay? We have a number of brands we work with. And in this business, we have some stakeholders, and what do I mean by stakeholders? We have persons who bring businesses to us. They might not be the direct end users of that business. And we made it clear in the business that if you are a stakeholder who brings us business, you have a commission we give you.
Right.
Okay, and that is clear cut. Okay. Do we have to give, let's say, a decision maker somewhere to give us a business? It's a no.
Okay.
It's not something that we entertain in our business, okay? And if you speak to any employee within our business, it's clear cut, so nobody is burdened. They know that as a business, this is how we run the business. Have we been successful at this? Yes. Okay. And oftentimes, I wonder why people think that to be successful, I need to bribe people, yes, to make it work, okay? Because if you look to many of the successful businesses, and look around, many of the successful businesses, they have clear-cut policies on how the business is run.
Right.
You will not find a very successful business that will compromise on this. No, if you were to do that, it's just short term, And I think that these are examples that we need to be conscious of. That yes, the very successful businesses around, they do not compromise on things of this nature. It's really spelled out. If you are an employee and you have found out that yes, you are influencing other stakeholders in the industry to get a business, you'll be fired immediately. Okay. And one of the things that I also say is, we look at businesses as secular, but a number of the policies in these secular businesses are from the Bible.
Right.
Okay. It's presented differently, and that probably is what misleads some of us to think that, yes, because it's a secular business, they would just do things anyhow. But it's not the case. It's far from that. So for our business, to bribe or to give somebody something under the table to get a business is a no. Okay. And this is what has brought us this far. Okay. People come to us because they know that this is what this business stands for. People vouch for us because they know that if we've executed a project, it's because of our capability. It's not because we knew somebody or yes, we paid. No. It's our capability. That is what has given us the work.
True. Right. That is very nice to know that there are actually businesses that are upholding, some very right moral standards. But have there been situations where you have lost opportunities because you refused to bribe? Practical, No,
we've lost some opportunities.
How did you feel?
We would not say that we lost it because whoever won the business bribed,
right?
And that's the reason why yes, they got the business. Yes, I mean these are things that you hear that do okay. And when we lose a business, we always go back to find out what happened.
Why?
Okay, it's not always the case that we are told the reason why we lost. Okay, but for us, it's a learning. If we've lost an opportunity, where did we go wrong? Okay, and if we are not told in black and white that this is the reason why you lost the business, we try and find out what happened, for which that is lost. And that learning is now built into how the business runs going forward. Okay, so a lost opportunity. And I remember we had tendered for a business, okay, and we lost it. And now I went to the business to inquire why we lost. And the gentleman said, "Oh, it was more like a curt response. You lost. We've given it to somebody else, and that was it." And one Sunday, I had closed from church. Sat in my car, and I got a call from the officer at this business that, "Are you guys available to execute this project for us?" And I said, "Yes, we are." He says, "Okay, if you could come on Monday, this project is available for you to execute." Reason, the business we awarded a contract to promised they were going to execute on this date, and it's been a merry-go-round. Every time postponing, and now it's become critical. And I said, "Rest assured, we would come and execute date." And yes, indeed, we went, executed the project. And to date, if they require any lighting or electrical service, we are the business that they come to. Right. The other point that I also need to make is we all want our peace of mind. I mean, who wants to be, let's say, the reference to say that you led this project for our company and you've caused us all this mess? Right. Yes, I mean, that's not something that many of us would want to be, known for. So people want to have the right thing done. And if you stand for the right thing, I'll assure you, you won't go hungry. Yes, you will not.
Right. Would you say listening to God plays a major role or major roles in the success of businesses? Would you say that?
For us, yes. For us, yes. What we stand for as a business is rooted in Scripture. Okay, we call them 6 lifelines within our business, and every employee knows this. Okay. Integrity. Okay. It's our watchword. Okay. And we say that sometimes the things we do can be very technical. So you might think that because it's technical, you can just use the technicalities of our services and get away with. No, we don't compromise on that. Yes, even though it's technical, what we tell our client is what it is. Okay. And if I go back to the earlier point I made, that because the services we are rendering to our clients, doesn't give them any headache, is a reason why they come back to us all the time. Is a reason why they also refer us to other clients. Okay. I have employees who will say that if we go and tender for a business and you are, let's say, competing with us on that tender, know that we'll win. And this is a conviction that the employees have. And why do they have that conviction? Because they know what we are offering will stand the test of time. They know what we are putting out there is not something that we've rejected, to just make money off people. And we also put in the effort. We don't go out there and because we've prayed and to think that we've prayed, we have God on our side and it will happen. Yes, we have prayed, we've committed what we are going to do to God, but we've also put in a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. So if you look at what is it that we've put on the table and you compare to what other persons have put on the table, you will not fault us. Right. Yeah, you won't.
Okay, so the word employee keeps coming up a lot. So let's get to the more human side of things. As the business owner, or the one in charge. You have your principles, you know, God first, do it right, honor God and all those things. But when you're working with people, you have people from diverse backgrounds coming together to render the service or give out the product with you. Until they are caught, certain actions cannot be taken.
Yeah.
So how do you ensure that these people are actually aligned? You may have, you know, people in other religions coming in there, people with all sorts of backgrounds and, you know, orientation, yes. So how do you ensure that they are aligned? So you don't really have to, you know, stand as the leader who thinks that, you know, we are doing it right, but under there's a canker or something, right?
Two things. When you are starting a business, you know, you always have the opportunity to put the structures in place for which anybody who comes in must conform.
Right.
Okay. If it's an existing business, yes, a culture has already been formed and people come in, and or if you find yourself in that business where a culture has already been formed, then trying to change that culture becomes complicated. Okay. But in our case, because it's a business we started from scratch, you know, we had the opportunity to put the structures in place for which, irrespective of your beliefs or your attitude, you know, when you come in, this is the culture of the business. You fit in or you go out. I mean, you picked the point I've made about employees.
Right.
And again, employees played this back to me, that we have a business that you either fit in or you go.
Right.
Nobody has to tell you that, sorry, leave this business. Okay. You will realize that, no, this is not the place it is not a place that you want to work. Okay. But having said that also, is also to put policies in place. Okay. Because I find that is what is also lacking in many small businesses we have around. Okay. If you go to the large organization, I mean, can you imagine a large organization that does not have policies to ensure that if I want to, for instance, if I want to go on leave, for instance, I can just wake up and go on leave? No. There are clear-cut policies. If you want to go on leave, you have to do ABCD.
Right.
But you find that in the relatively smaller businesses, those things are not there.
Right.
And if you don't have those policies, I mean, it's an advice I'll give to anyone out there who is intending of running a business or have a business. Okay, you need to have policies. You need to have procedures. You know, that employees know that for this is what it means. And if they falter, these are the consequences.
Okay.
So it's clear cut.
Okay.
You know, and that for us has helped.
Right.
I mean, for instance, we have a policy on vehicles going out, and it's clear cut that by 8:30 in the morning, the schedule officer sends that notice out that ABCD will be doing this. You know, so you don't have a situation where somebody just moves a vehicle and is all over the place. Yes. And even with that, we have ways of also checking that, yes, this is a schedule that has been put forward by the schedule officer.
Right.
But have people indeed gone to the places they said they were going to? You know, so it's also not left just from an instruction point of view, but there are controls in place. Okay. We should not shy away from following up on what is it that people have said they are going to do. It's not the case that I do not trust you. That's not the point. It's just this is how it's run.
Right.
Okay. I mean, we often say that what is checked is what is done. Okay. So if it's just a case of I've said it, for which I expect that yes, because I've said it, it will be done. Sorry, you'll be missing you'll be missing the point. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think it has been a very good discussion so far. But we'll pause for now. This has been Let's Talk About. I've been here with Mr. Felix Darko, a business owner, and we've been discussing how to build brands that honor Christ. We'll go for a quick break. We'll be right back. Please stay.
With the growing challenges of life in light of both global and domestic development, the Christian is faced with the difficult task of balancing survival within a secular system and at the same time living a Christian life that pleases their Maker. It is for this reason that we need to have frank conversations on the many issues of life through the Christian lens. So, we bring to you Let's Talk About. On Let's Talk About, we talk about health, career, dating, marriage, family, divorce, politics, finance, and all the issues of life that the Christian is confronted with on a daily basis. Join us this and every Wednesday on the YouTube and Facebook pages of Trinity United Church Legon, and let's talk about life as Christians. With the growing challenges of life in light of both global and domestic development, the Christian is faced with the difficult task of balancing survival within a secular system and at the same time living a Christian life that pleases their Maker. It is for this reason that we need to have frank conversations on the many issues of life through the Christian lens. So, we bring to you Let's Talk About. On Let's Talk About, we talk about health, career, dating, marriage, family, divorce, politics, finance, and all the issues of life that the Christian is confronted with on a daily basis. Join us this and every Wednesday on the YouTube and Facebook pages of Trinity United Church Legon, and let's talk about life as Christians. With the growing challenges of life in light of both global and domestic development, the Christian is faced with the difficult task of balancing survival within a secular system and at the same time living a Christian life that pleases their Maker. It is for this reason that we need to have frank conversations on the many issues of life through the Christian lens. So, we bring to you Let's Talk About. On Let's Talk About, we talk about health, career, dating, marriage, family, divorce, politics, finance, and all the issues of life that the Christian is confronted with on a daily basis. Join us this and every Wednesday on the YouTube and Facebook pages of Trinity United Church Legon, and let's talk about life as Christians.
Hello, thank you for staying. This is Let's Talk About. We are discussing how to build brands that honor Christ. At this point, we would be open to taking your questions or your comments. Anything you might have, you can send them on our WhatsApp number 0501 579 996, 0501 579 996, or you can also share them as comments on our social media platforms, YouTube and Facebook, at Trinity United Church Legon. We are delving back into the discussion. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
So, as a business owner who failed at some point, how do you know what niche or what business would actually work for you? For you who failed at horticulture, and now has a lighting and electrical business. After the failure, when you decided to try again, how did you know what to do, and all of that?
Okay. So, like I said from the onset, I had a horticultural business which didn't work out. So, I stayed as an employee for a long while, over 2 decades, like I mentioned, and during that time, it was not a case of I was preparing myself for the work of an employer.
Okay.
I had dedicated myself that yes, I was going to play the role of an employee, but I had a lot of opportunities, to understand many of the phases of business, so from HR, from finance, sales, marketing, operations, supply chain, you name it. I have really practical, know-how in these areas. In 2013, I was employed by Philips, the lighting. In fact, they are the world's leader in lighting. So I was employed by them, and this was a totally new industry to me. I've been in FMCG for all this while. So now I find myself in a technology environment. Of course, the skill sets I've acquired in the FMCG applicable.
Right.
But I had to quickly learn this new industry. So I put a lot of effort into understanding the industry, and stayed with Philips up to 2017, late 2017. So I'd done about 5 years with Philips. And during that time, I recognized that there's an opportunity in this industry. The opportunity was a business that would provide really specialist lighting service, to the market, because what was happening prior to that was, yes, you needed to illuminate a space, and yes, you are provided lighting to illuminate the space, but lighting is more than illumination, and that's what we say. That lighting goes beyond. Yes, I've provided lighting. I can see, I can read. Yes, lighting can do so many things. Lighting can make you relax. Lighting can make you productive. Lighting can make the environment clean, or you can make it anyhow.
Right.
I remember one time I went to a church, and immediately I sat in the chair. I said, no, this place, you will sleep. And indeed, in no time, many people were sleeping. Not because the service wasn't great, but the illumination of the place just made it comfortable for people to sleep. Yes, and that is why we say lighting goes beyond illumination. So we saw that there was an opportunity to provide the specialist service to the market. And having been in this industry for about 5 years or so, we could also put value to that opportunity. That yes, this opportunity is worth this much. This is how to, as it were, exploit that opportunity.
Right.
So it was based on hard data. A friend of mine would say that yes, have faith in God, but all other things use data.
Right.
Okay. So it's not just I've identified an opportunity, but what is the value of that opportunity? Do you have the know-how in that industry to be able to actually take this opportunity? And we were confident that yes, we had that know-how. And in fact, we tried to identify a business to take this opportunity, but we couldn't, because I was an employee then.
Yeah.
So I had a conversation with my employer that I would want to leave and start this business. They were not convinced that I'll be successful. Reason, there's been a number of Philips employees that had also left all over the world, thinking that they've identified an opportunity, they could make it work, and it didn't work. So it was, okay, if you want to go. Yes, no, we wish you well. Okay. And now I step out of Philips. And stepping out, yes, I had agreed with them that I was going to take up a distributorship of Philips in Ghana. It was when I stepped out and I realized that, of course, I'd always known that before you be given this distributorship, you will go through what they call a due diligence, a DDP called within Philips. But what I didn't know was, because I was an ex-employee of Philips, the DDP was going to be more rigorous. Because yes, insider information, yes. So I've resigned, and the DDP process was taking forever. It took a long while before we were finally okay. That yes, now you could go ahead and be a distributor of Philips. But thanks to God, yes, they gave us the distributorship.
Okay.
So from 2018, yes, we've been running the business till now. But the point is, because of my time as an employee, okay, and the know-how I've picked from the various elements within business, okay. Yes, even though we went through some challenges, yes, it was not as hard as somebody who, yes, had limited knowledge. I mean, for
Right.
instance, engaging people, you knew which skill sets to look out for.
Yes.
Okay, so if I needed somebody, let's say in sales, which skill sets am I looking out for?
Right.
If somebody in supply chain, again, which skill sets am I looking out for? If I need to go to a regulatory body, the Ghana Standards Authority, the Energy Commission, for instance, it wasn't new to me because I had already had
Yeah.
engagement from all these regulatory bodies. So we kind of, leapfrogged. Yes, even though it was a startup, yes, we were miles ahead of an ordinary startup, yes. So we hit the ground. Of course, a brand new business, so we needed to look for clients, for customers. But because of the know-how in the industry, yes, I could go to people and say, I mean, these are people who are already in the industry, and introduce to them that, yes, we've set up our business.
Okay.
This is what we are offering. As they knew us, they could vouch for us.
Right.
And yes, and that is how it all began, and we've run it till now.
That's really good. I think you should mention the name of your business so we can patronize you.
It's Electro Daco House.
Electro Daco
Electro
House.
Daco. I bury my name as well,
Okay.
and that should tell you how how passionate we are about the business. Because if you have a business which you've also added your name, yes, it means a lot.
Impressive.
Yes.
Impressive. Okay, so we have one comment from a viewer. He says, you have a knack for quality and good customer service. You may have to throw some light on that for success in business. So that's like a nice compliment, and then probing for further details. So
Thank you very much. Thank you for the comment. Yes, I think it boils down to the point I made earlier about our lifeline as a business. Okay, I mean, one of the things we have in our lifeline is, and this is not unique to us. It's often said that the customer is key. Okay, and scripture actually emphasizes that, you know, that we should work as though we are working for
Unto
God.
God,
Yes,
right.
and not to a master. You know, and I always tell the people I work with is, we've not come from our homes to this business to just come and idle around. We've come because we want to serve our clients. You know, so if we've come here, our service to clients should be spotless. We should not have clients come in and, you know, it's a poor service. And we are constantly challenging ourselves. We are constantly evaluating the service we give to our clients. It's one of the things that I've also learned from social media, that if you look to the successful businesses, they don't stay still. You will not find a successful business that what you saw of them in 2024 is the same thing they are putting on the table in 2025. No, you know, you are constantly challenging yourself, constantly looking for what new way you can remain relevant and excite your clients. You know, when we started, one of the goals we gave ourselves is a 24-hour turnaround. And the 24-hour turnaround applies to everything that we did. If there's a client inquiry, maximum within 24 hours,
it has to be attended
yes,
to.
you should be going back to the client. Even if you don't have a solution, at least let the client know that I'm working on this inquiry and I will get back to you. But not to keep clients in the in darkness. No, that's a no for us.
Okay.
You know, so it's constantly challenging ourselves, constantly pushing ourselves. What is it that we can do to make the service experience of our clients even better? You know, and that's how far we've come.
Okay. So I think a failed business will not be honoring God, right? So running a good business that actually gives reverence to God's name will require some structure. Did you leave Philips because you felt you couldn't juggle your 9 to 5 with your new business? Why did you leave Philips?
I left because at the time I was leaving, we had plateaued.
Okay.
You know, the business had plateaued. We needed to move the business to another level, and somehow we couldn't find the right partners to do that. Okay, and it's the opportunity I had identified, that we have this opportunity. We needed people to do it. We couldn't find, and I decided that no,
To do
I would.
yourself.
Yes. Could I have managed this business plus working at Philips? Is a no. I mean, it was just impossible because running a business it is not just running a business. To be successful at whatever you do takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of hard work. And Philips was taking so much of my time, such that it was just impossible that I could, remain as an employee at Philips and still run this. And these days you find people saying that they have a side hustle. Yes, I'm an employee and I have a side hustle. I don't think that many of them will be successful with that. I mean, that's my view, that it really requires a lot. Unless you want to play a niche, something small, then yes. But if you really want to do a relatively mid-sized big business, it requires your all. And when I say requires your all, it's also not a case of you need to be sitting in there. Mentioning Philips, okay, we're employees and we're running it well. So why can't we also, set up businesses that other people can also run? It's finding the right structure, and I think that is one of the hurdles that we have to overcome as like Ghanaians running our own business, because you find that many of the businesses that we run, we are involved in those businesses 24/7, and you ask yourself that, okay, so if you are not there, what happens?
What happens?
Okay,
right.
And it's something that we need to address.
Okay.
Because the successful businesses out there are businesses that have gone beyond many generations. It's not, it's a second or a third generation. I mean, Philips, for instance, is over 125 years. Okay, it started as a family business. Okay. It's no longer the case, So the point is, to really run these big businesses, it takes many years. Okay,
Yes.
For us as consumers, we may think that, yes, we've seen a brand or a name of a business. We may think that, okay, this is a brand new business that immediately is making waves. Oftentimes that is not the case. Yes, the businesses have been around for many years, gone through a lot of evolution, to get to the point that they've become now global brands.
Okay. So now let's look at our viewers who are watching us and are probably business owners or are contemplating to do it right, to honor God. We have mentioned some of the steps, but what are some of the things you can tell us, some pointers, how to actually honor God with your business?
Like I said from the onset, the successful businesses out there that we think that they are secular, many of their policies are rooted, yes, from the gospel. Okay, it's the way it's been presented for which we think that, yes. And it's my conviction that to run a successful business, we must follow the biblical principles. Yes, if we think that we can do it well any other way, it's just short term. It's just short term. I mean, for instance, the issue of I have to bribe to make it happen. For how long? Right. Okay, you may be a master at bribing, but what if you are not there? Your second in command or another person who takes over, can he do it the way you did it? No. But if it's rooted on biblical principles, and for instance, sexual harassment, for instance, I mean, many businesses out there, it's a no-no. But that is what the Bible teaches us. So why do you want to do otherwise? Why do you think that you can be successful when you are running a business that is harassing the employees, or you can be successful when you are running a business that is not fair to your employees? End of month, you haven't paid salaries, and you think that it's okay. Fine. I mean, no, it cannot be okay. So these are things that
You have to look
we
at.
yes, we need to take them really seriously. And if they are imbibed into the businesses we run, with the grace of God, we will be successful
Right.
at it. You know, and I had made this point earlier that we need to have processes in place. We need to have policies in place. Let's not just leave it and expect that it will work out. No. There should be clear-cut policies. You can't write everything. It's not everything that you can write, but there are many things that you can do, and it should be it should be there that people know that there's these are the structures I need to follow. I mean, for instance, you've engaged a new employee. You cannot engage a new employee and expect that he or she joins the business and immediately they can deliver.
Right.
But what induction program do you have for that employee? That, okay, after a couple of weeks or months, yes, the person would have acquired the necessary skills to be able to deliver. We have minimum 3 months induction for employees, you know, because our area is such a technical and specialist area. And after that 3 months, if you are open to learn, you don't need to be somebody of a science background to be able to understand our business. Yes. Because we will give you the we will give you the training, we will give you the material. You need to avail yourself. Okay. And the 3 months induction is also not for nothing. It's something that, yes, we've realized that after that period, people are sound, you know, to be able to to deliver. And after that period, it's also not the case of we've left you to be on your own, but the support service or the support structures are there. How can we help you? We'll give you the opportunity, you know, and if you don't pull your weight, of course, that's it. And if you don't pull your weight and you have to leave, it's also a big loss to us. Yes, you know, because at the end of the day, if I've taken you through 3 months of induction, only for us to say 5 or 6 months down the line, that sorry, it will not work. Yes, it's a setback. Right. We need to find somebody and go through the resources that have gone into. It's all lots. Right. So it's also in our interest to help you to succeed. You know, I often tell people who come for interview at our places, don't look at it as though we are doing you a favor. No, we are not doing you a favor. We need you as much as you need us. Right. Yes. So it's a two-way engagement. Yes. Don't come in and again also expect that you will be, as it were, instructed in everything that you have to do. No. We know that you have something good to offer. Yes, you have something good to offer. So grab that and be part of the family, be part of the journey.
Okay, that's wonderful stuff. I know you, so I know you're a church worker. So juggling service in God's vineyard, your business and family, how has that been? Smooth?
I think that for me, now that I have a business running, okay, it's less stressful. Okay. When I was an employee, yes, it was a really tall order. Okay. But now it's less stressful.
Great.
And saying that it's less stressful doesn't mean that we are not putting in the hours. Okay, yes. We put in a lot of hours. When we started a business, one of the things we told ourselves is this is a brand new business. There are players already in this industry offering similar to what we are doing. What can we do differently to be able to
stand out?
Yes, to be able to make an impact in this industry. And one of the things we said was we need to work harder than them. And what does that mean? We open early and close late. Yes, we open early and close late. And we said if we can be open an hour before the competition will open, yes, we can get people who at that time needed our services. Right. And if we would also close late, yes, we'll have people who, yes, the other businesses will not be available. I was sharing a story with a worker this week, yes, that if you think of travel agency, I mean, now you don't hear much of travel agency, but there are successful travel agencies around.
Yes.
And why have they remained and successful? You know, oftentimes you need them at all hours. I mean, for instance, you are traveling, you get to the airport, and oftentimes you know that international flights out of Ghana is at night, 10 p.m. onwards. So let's say you've gone to the airport at 8 p.m. and you have a problem with your ticket, and especially for ladies, maiden name, you are now Mrs. Whatever. You know, the travel agencies are closed.
That'll be a problem.
Yes, but the successful ones will be available to serve you. Okay, I have had an experience where I had gone outside the country, and I realized around 2 a.m. that there was a problem with my ticket, and I was wondering, 2 a.m., what am I going to do? I called the agency, and there was somebody there.
Wow.
Yes, to sort it out. You know, you exclaim, "Wow!"
Yeah.
So why won't that business be successful? That's it. Why won't it be successful? Yes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We're wrapping up. Do you have anything else? Advice for business owners, people who are starting and maybe have failed once or twice, you know, looking for some motivation to try again? What do you have to say?
Two things. One is not to just, you know, focus on, yes, I've identified an opportunity. And because I've identified an opportunity, you go, you know, bulldozing, you know, to take that opportunity. But what is the size of the opportunity I've identified? Okay. Do I have the skill sets? Do I have the competency? It's not just a case of I can raise the capital.
Right.
There's more to it than, yes, I have the capital to run that business. Do I understand this business? I mean, for instance, if you look at apprenticeship,
Right.
There's a lot of wisdom in why people go through that number of years.
Yeah.
Okay. To be able to acquire the know-how, you know, to be good at, if it's dressmaking, carpentry, masonry, or whatever. You know, so why do we think that for business, I just need capital and I can make it, or I have an idea, I've gone into partnership with one or two persons and yes, it will work. No. You know.
Okay.
What is the size? Do I have the competency? And if I don't have the competency, be willing to go and learn. You know, I mean, it could be a pro bono or it could be whatever form. If you come to a place, for instance, and we tell you that there's no opportunity, but you say, okay, even though there's no opportunity, I just want to come and work here to pick. Why not?
Okay.
You know. And secondly, it's also to have the structures in place. You know, the structures, it may appear a bit, what is it? You might not put value on them. You might think that, okay, I mean, what are policies for? But they are critical. Because you are running an organization that have people. You know, and you don't expect that everybody will be coming to you to say, supervisor or manager, I have this issue, what should I do? You know, policies should be available. People can refer to them and know that, okay, for this is what we need to do. And it's no rocket science. I mean, the successful businesses have it.
Yeah.
You know, then the question is, if this is one of the things they've done to make them successful, why do you think that you can do differently and be successful?
Right.
It's just you driving yourself too hard. Yes.
Thank you. Very rich knowledge and experience that we have consumed. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
The pleasure is ours. Thank you so much for watching and asking questions and sharing your comments. This has been Let's Talk About. We've been discussing Rising Right, building brands that honor Christ. And we've been here with our own church member and businessman, Mr. Felix Darko. We'll see you same time on next week, Wednesday. Good night.